Walley.
Where does confidence come from? 1975, Long Beach, California. My family and I had just left a restaurant, and there are these two guys outside, and they're yelling and screaming at each other. And if you had been there, you would have seen my grandma, 5'0", 80 years old, march right up to these two guys and put her hands up and yell, "Stop it! Just stop it!" Wow! My grandma's just living the Nike slogan, "Just do it." Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, astonished guests. Where does confidence like that come from? My whole childhood I spent being scared of cats. I would even go to my mom and I would lie and I would say, "Mommy, I have a bellyache. I can't go to school today." And she would say, "Are you sure? You can't go to school today?" "Yeah, I got a bellyache. I can't go to school." The truth is, I was afraid of going to school and getting bullied. Until I turned 13 years old, and that's when I discovered Bruce Lee! What? He wasn't just confidence, he was screaming confidence. I learned to kick like Bruce Lee. I learned to punch like Bruce Lee. I learned to scream like, "Whoa!" Bruce Lee taught me how to enjoy being active. Just like my grandma enjoyed being active her whole life. She did yoga every day. She went swimming a couple times a week. She even went hiking when we went to the mountains. In fact, on my grandma and grandpa's first date, they went hiking up Mount Wilson in Southern California. Where did this kind of confidence come from to go hiking? Because apparently being active and being active plays a role in being confident. But where does confidence come from? 100 years ago, in 1915, my grandma, went to her dad and she said, "I want to be a doctor. I want to go to medical school and be a doctor just like you." And he said, "Absolutely not. You can't even vote. You can be a secretary, you can be a social worker, you can be a teacher, but that's it. Well, I'm going to go to medical school anyway. If you disobey me and go to medical school, I will disown you." By the time I was born, my grandma had been a doctor for over 30 years. Bruce Lee had trouble too. All of the heads of the studios, of the Chinese martial arts academies went to him and they said, "You know what? We demand that you stop teaching Westerners." Bruce Lee refused. He said, "I believe in equal rights. It doesn't matter to me what anybody's race is." Finally, the other studios sent a man to kick his butt. Bruce Lee won that fight. Where does confidence come from? It comes from choosing to follow your destiny, no matter what gets in the way. It reminds me of John F. Kennedy's speech about choosing to go to the moon. On September 12, 1962, Kennedy said, "We choose to go to the moon, not because it's easy, but because it is hard." That is the formula for confidence. Nike plus Kennedy. Just do it. Not because it is easy, but because it is hard. What do you and my grandma and Bruce Lee have in common? Destiny. Your destiny impacts the planet. What do you remember about your grandparents? What stays with your heart? If you have grandchildren, what do you want them to remember about you 5, 10, 20 years from now? And your childhood heroes, what do you remember about them? What stays with you? because my parents got divorced when I was 7 years old, Bruce Lee became my father figure. When he said, don't smoke, I didn't smoke. When he said, don't drink, I did not drink. That's what I remember. That's what I took away. And when my grandma was 85 years old, I was running out of the house to go play with my friends, and she stopped me before I got to the door, and she said, I want to show you something. Ah, Grandma, I'm going to go play with my friends. It'll just take a minute. Okay, Reid, put your legs together. Put your hands behind your back. Lean over. I'm going to show you this yoga move. Stretch, stretch. Okay. Touch your nose to your knees. My nose to my knees? I looked over and my grandma's nose was touching her knees. I can't do it today. And she was 85. That's what I remember. Grandma passed at age 92 young. But if she were here today, right here standing in front of us, and you asked her, where does confidence come from? I know exactly what she would say. Confidence comes from choosing to go to the moon. It comes from choosing to fight for equal rights. It comes from choosing to be a doctor. Even when your dad says no. It comes from choosing to follow your destiny. Your destiny. Not somebody else's destiny. Your destiny.